Next, we move up to one of the most famous women in history, Cleopatra the Seventh.
Amazing.
Most of us think it's just Cleopatra, but she was the seventh Cleopatra in a line. It was a dominant name in the Ptolemy kingdom. And their family tree was many, many circles. And that's what's really unique about them. So they inbred a little. And on this coin, Cleopatra is in the little counter stamp right here on the coin.
Oh, wow.
And that's where you get her face. Otherwise, you have Zeus or one of the gods there on the front. And you have the counter stamp of Cleopatra. One thing we can tell you for sure is Cleopatra did not look like Elizabeth Taylor. Probably would have had Greek lines because she came from a Greek line of rulers. All the Ptolemies came from Greece. And then they ran part of that.
She had a very large nose, I understand.
Extremely large, yes. She definitely that was what she got from the inbreeding in her family.
But she was able to hook Julius Caesar, Mark Antony, huh?
Yeah, she was. Well, you know what? If you married Cleopatra, you owned Egypt.
Okay.
So having a time with Cleopatra, or having her as your lover or as your mate, meant you were part of the ruler of Egypt at the same time. So there you have the marriage of necessity.
And connection to Alexander.
Connectionality. Mark Antony, she obviously chose the wrong person.
Yeah.
Octavian won, Mark Antony lost. The asp bite, and she committed suicide.
But I don't think Octavian would have had anything to do with her.
Maybe not. It depends on how much he really wanted Egypt. He may have just thought he could take it.
That's true.
So at that point in time, maybe if they had conspired together instead of him, Mark Antony, it might have been different. You'd have to look back 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And so, we don't know how history quite would have worked.
Another episode of the Coin Story podcast. Today we're going to check out the North County show in Orange County, California. Let's go see.
All right, we're with Steve here today, and he's going to show us 3 really cool historical coins.
All right. My name is Steve, and today we're going to look at some ancient and later medieval coins. We're going to look at Alexander the Great, one of our favorite guys. Alexander the Great was in the 300s BC, and what's really unique about this coin, this was actually minted during his lifetime. And there's a significant way to tell whether a coin is minted during Alexander's lifetime. If we look on the reverse of the coin, if his legs are separated, it's generally when he was alive. And if his legs are crossed, it's after he passed away.
Oh, that's
and
really
they
cool.
remade the coin. So this provides a unique way. It's got some other markings that make it there, but that's the main distinguishing feature. So
I never knew that, Steve. That's awesome.
Yeah, so this gives you an idea. On the front you have Hercules, and on the back you would have Alexander seated. Or Athena seated. Athena, I think, on that one. And so that was minted between 336 and 323 BC.
And is that Alexander's face? I know he dressed
No, this would be
as Hercules?
Yeah, dressed as Hercules, exactly. So he's wearing the lion's head thing that would make him Hercules.
Because I know some of the coins were just kind of a generic face, and then they started using his face.
Yeah, well, you get bigger, they get more of his face.
And then they integrated his hair too.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a
hair.
Yeah, he's a neat person. Next, we move up to one of the most famous women in history, Cleopatra the Seventh.
Amazing.
Most of us think it's just Cleopatra, but she was the seventh Cleopatra in a line. It was a dominant name in the Ptolemy kingdom. And their family tree was many, many circles. And that's what's really unique about them. So they inbred a little. And on this coin, Cleopatra is in the little counter stamp right here on the coin.
Oh, wow.
And that's where you get her face. Otherwise, you have Zeus or one of the gods there on the front. And you have the counter stamp of Cleopatra. One thing we can tell you for sure is Cleopatra did not look like Elizabeth Taylor. Probably would have had Greek lines because she came from a Greek line of rulers. All the Ptolemies came from Greece. And then they ran part of that.
She had a very large nose, I understand.
Extremely large, yes. She definitely that was what she got from the inbreeding in her family.
But she was able to hook Julius Caesar, Mark Antony, huh?
Yeah, she was. Well, you know what? If you married Cleopatra, you owned Egypt.
Okay.
So having a time with Cleopatra, or having her as your lover or as your mate, meant you were part of the ruler of Egypt at the same time. So there you have the marriage of necessity.
And connection to Alexander.
Connectionality. Mark Antony, she obviously chose the wrong person.
Yeah.
Octavian won, Mark Antony lost. The asp bite, and she committed suicide.
But I don't think Octavian would have had anything to do with her.
Maybe not. It depends on how much he really wanted Egypt. He may have just thought he could take it.
That's true. That's
so
true.
At that point in time, maybe if they had conspired together instead of him and Mark Antony, it might have been different. You'd have to look back 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And so, we don't know how history quite would have worked.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The next thing we have, the last thing, we have wire money. This is really thin money and very thin, pressed out. And this was used in Russia during the feudal periods from like the 1300s all the way through the mid to late 1700s. And one of the things really neat, this is money of Ivan the Terrible.
Okay.
And so Ivan the Terrible, we all know him as being really a cruel ruler and everything else, but every other ruler around him made wire money too. This was a common circulating like penny of the time, silver penny of the time, like they would have had it in every country. You get Fedor, Mikhail, and then you get Peter the Great. Tsar Peter the Great, by the time you get to the 1700s, I think he would have ruled as the capital, not in Moscow, but in Kiev.
I think
St.
Petersburg.
Petersburg. So he would have been Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of one of those things? Ivan, I think, was also, I don't know if he was Moscow or Ukrainian.
Hey, I do have a question for
Sure.
you. I know they had plenty of copper money because the larger pieces
Yes.
were gigantic.
Yeah.
So why didn't they make these small pieces in copper instead of in silver?
I think because of the value of the money, it took that much copper to make the silver.
Okay.
So you have a small piece of silver, it's probably the small copper coin, which would have been probably quarter size. And the large copper coins were larger than a silver dollar.
Okay.
They would have been almost 50 millimeters.
Yeah, they were
40,
gigantic,
they were
right?
huge. I had some of those today, and I've sold out of them actually. Very neat coins. But I think copper, since they had a lot of mines for that, they had a lot of copper, and it took less silver to make the copper, so you could do your equivalent amounts. And another thing they had that was unique to a lot of areas, they had platinum, which most countries didn't have. They actually made some coins, rare coins, out of copper.
Even today, it
Yeah.
comes out, a good chunk of it comes out of South Africa and Russia. Yeah.
So platinum was a big thing for them too.
Yeah, very interesting, Steve. So, quick question though.
Yeah.
So this, when we look at these silver pieces, are they kind of diluted? Are they only like 50%
These
silver?
would have been, I think, fairly high grade.
Okay.
Probably 80% or better. I would think the Russian pieces were at that time. Pretty
Okay.
major nation. The Greek piece, really high grade. The Cleopatra piece is copper.
Okay.
And so it would have been copper, a larger tetradrachma. By the time you're getting there, they're depleting the metals to copper instead of silver.
Right.
And so you would have had silver coins of her, very rare. Copper's more what you saw in a larger coin.
Right.
They used a lot of silver here. I don't know exactly, but I would think they'd be fairly good silver in the Russian though.
Those are beautiful coins.
They're neat.
Hey, thank you, Steve. We appreciate it, and thank you for your time today.
Please see me, Steve at Vanguard Shop.
Thank you so much.
The Coin Story Podcast would like to thank its sponsors, Fondo Coffee, freshly roasted coffee every time, and GBD Marketing, engage, convert, and thrive.
So today we're here with Buck, and this is the North County, Orange County show. Buck is going to show us some Hard Times tokens.
Well, good afternoon. Hard time tokens were made between 1832 and 1844. Their tokens in numismatic terms often mean a substitute for coinage. And there was a deep shortage of coins in the marketplace due to the economic recession. The first one I'll show you right here is called Webster's Ship Van Buren shipwreck, Daniel Webster tried to get the nomination for president, and he produced this token that has a picture of the Constitution on it. And the idea was that if you vote for him, it would be smooth sailing, versus if you voted for Van Buren, it would be a shipwreck. I find this one of the more interesting tokens.
Very comical, Buck.
In 1834, one of the major ones that kicked off the whole series was this one with Andrew Jackson carrying a sword. It's called I Take the Responsibility, and it's a very mocking of Jackson, a very anti-Jackson token. He was trying to get rid of the National Bank at the time. As a matter of fact, he did get rid of it, and as a result, the opposition really went after him in a serious way.
Wow.
Lots of sarcasm.
Hey, Buck, sorry to interrupt, but can we film those on the paper?
Sure.
Just so I can just kind of fix on them. Awesome. Continue, please. This is so interesting.
And the last one I'll show you, it's called "Am I Not a Sister and a Woman?" And it's a token that was made by that was sponsored by Lloyd Garrison of the Abolition Society. They sold for $1 a piece at the time to raise funds for the Abolition Society. A very famous token. It was made in 1838. Oh, I picked it up again. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
All right.
Oh, those are beautiful, though, and I love the detail on the slavery one. So this, I'm going to assume this is pre-Civil War.
Yes, pre-Civil War.
Pre-Civil War.
They
So even though they're hard times tokens, they couldn't make currency during the Civil War. They had difficulty making currency during pre-Civil War as well, is what you're saying.
Yeah, Civil War tokens and hard time tokens are very similar. They both really excelled during the period of crisis in our country. The first one being the hard times, which was an economic crisis. And in both instances, coinage was hoarded by the public for the intrinsic value of the metal. And because of that coin shortage, merchants could not make change. And when they couldn't make change, private enterprise stepped up and said, we'll sell you something for less than the copper value. They were made out of bronze.
Okay.
And they filled the void for making change for the merchants during those crisis periods.
So, question, because I am a little familiar with that period, and England had the same issues. Was that because of the Napoleonic War?
Yes.
Okay. So we got most of our currency and metals from Europe, is what you're saying. Did we not have our own mines at that time?
We had the coinage, but everything that was produced was hoarded by the public.
Okay. So there was a shortage,
There
is
was
what
a
you're
shortage
saying.
due to the hoarding of the coinage during those time periods.
Okay. All right. Hey, thank you, Buck. I really appreciate. I see you got a customer here.
Thank you. Oh, he's the board chair.
And I appreciate your time.
We've had a great time at the North County Show here in beautiful Anaheim. I hope you loved checking out the Civil War tokens and all the other beautiful items that Steve and Buck showed us. And I hope you join us again for the Coin Story podcast. Remember, every coin has a life and story to tell if you're patient enough to listen. Welcome to Coin Story. I'm Pete. Coin Story focuses on the history of a single coin. Coins move through the ages from hand to hand and from decade to century. These coins represent the work and culture of the people that own them. Every coin has a story to tell if you're patient enough to listen. Take a little time out of your day and join me for a walk back in time. Every coin has a life, and each coin tells a story.